we'll turn the page over to PulseChain, which again is dipping with the market today, but we've still rallied quite a bit off the lows and feeling pretty good about that. So we've got Pulse at quad 0517 right now, Pulse X at 4029, incentive trading at $2.18 at the moment. Hex, which the hexes have been like very volatile up and down kind of in these recent moves, which is cool. I mean, like the liquidity wise, I mean, we're seeing things really like pump up hardcore when things have been going up. So Hex has just been off the chain recently, but Hex is at 1.4 cents on Pulse, and then eHex is at 0028 right now. So that would put total Hex at what, 1.7 cents or something at the moment. So we've been up over 2 cents recently. Hex itself was pushing 2 cents, I believe, the other day. Its all-time high is right around 3 cents. So it has looked really, really good lately. But yeah, what do you think? I mean, to me, this looks like a pretty much nice, healthy pullback for Pulse right now. We've run up so much recently, and I think we have a nice kind of rounded bottom. If you were able to get to the Pulse chart, we could maybe look at that for a moment, or maybe Hex 2 after that, whatever you want to do. But well, yeah, it's
pulling them all up here on deck screen, right? I think I'm sharing. Yeah, I'm sharing this screen right now. So, yeah, I mean, they're all having a very similar pullback. You know, here's your now this is the Pulse ETH chart that we look at occasionally here. But yeah, the Hex on Pulse, the Hex on Ethereum, both having a very similar pullback, drawdown, whatever you want to call it. Again, I believe it's healthy. We haven't gone lower than this green candle here, which is fine. I think as long as it holds that support. If it doesn't hold that support, you know, we could be down into the 1.1 cents area, or just a penny flat out. In somewhere in that range, it could go if it doesn't hold here at this support level. Again, there's still a lot of, I would say, uncertainty. There's not a whole lot of volume to go based on levels and things like that, especially on this chart. It's so new. So to see how well these hold up, you know, will be interesting. But again, we kind of needed, after all of these green candles and only, you know, a couple red ones, you know, you need a sizable pullback, cool off period so that it can kind of reload, get people refocused again so that it can take off. You know, you need those ABC waves or 1, 2, 3 waves to play out and be effective to continue to go up higher. Let's take a look here at the Pulse chart. You know, it's still forming that rounded bottom. You know, again, I'm not seeing any red flags with any of these pullbacks. Again, they're all very similar pattern. They're all tied very heavily together. So, you know, again, I don't think it's really anything to worry about. We catch some of these different support levels. Incentive has gone a little bit further than the others as far as, you know, passing the support. It could come the whole way down probably to $2.11, $2.09 in that area. If it bounces off of that, again, a healthy retrace and bounce. So, yeah, let's take a look at some of these other ones, though. Yeah, they're all doing the same thing. Hedron, Icosa, again, all very similar. They're so tied to the PulseChain liquidity. Yeah, it's across the board. So yeah, nothing alarming, nothing going completely off the rails or anything like that. So yeah, it's just a healthy drawback.
It's one of those healthy pullbacks after pumping, you know, really hard over the last couple of weeks. And it is interesting because, like, I just made a pretty nice DCA buy on, I think it was Tuesday night, or that last night was like Monday night or something like that, when we were still, I don't know, 15% or so up from here. So, you know, it was one of those buys where it immediately starts to go back down a little bit. But it's one of those things too, where, like, I feel like I'm playing such a game of chicken right now because, as you know, we talk about it all the time, where, like, this stuff can just absolutely start mooning out of nowhere. And no, we're not in 2025 yet, but I mean, still, we're leading up to like a very important date for Richard Hart, not his birthday, but obviously the motion to dismiss case that the SEC filed that he's trying to get dismissed, which hopefully will happen. But even if it doesn't, it's not really that big of a deal because nobody really takes him seriously anymore. But we are heading up to these really important points, and it's like, I don't want to be caught. Like, these are still auto buy prices. Like, even honestly, as long as Pulse is under SAC rate of 0001, I mean, like, I want to buy everything I can within the ecosystem still, like, no doubt about it. And as long as we're there, I want to do it. So, I mean, it sucks a little bit when you make a buy like that and you're like, oh, I'm a little bit down on it right now. Of course, you have to have the long-term thinking, but I would much rather be like, I want to get in now because I'm more afraid of it getting away from me than I am it going down at this point. Because
even being half that price, right? I mean, you're talking about SAC rate. We're actually at half of SAC rate. So absolutely, to back up your statement, this is still auto buy territory for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
Well, no, just for anybody who, and I know that feeling, like you make a buy and then it goes down 20%. You're like, what the hell, dude? This always happens to me. Like, I get that. But you got to look at the big picture. We are in Q4 of 2024. This is Q4 of a Bitcoin having whatever. I know somebody will bitch at us for that. 2025 is when things are programmed to go crazy, very likely, throughout all of crypto. Who knows? Maybe it even pushes slightly into 2026. I mean, we are, I know, like, you've probably heard it a million times, and some people get disillusioned because they can't have that long-term view, but the train's going to be leaving the station at some point. Like, at some point, out of nowhere, you are going to get smacked in the face, and it is never coming back. And the next thing you know, you're buying, hoping for a 3x, like on this ecosystem, not on Bitcoin. Like, you're going to be at the point where it's like, okay, yeah, I think we got a little bit of legs left to stand on. Everybody's pretty bullish and stuff like that. If I waited out 6 more months, and the next thing you know, something happens where maybe we're entering a new bear market. So that's why we've been buying like maniacs basically for the last year, 2-3 years, really. Yeah. So I think it's a normal pullback. It's good to see it doing this. It's healthy. I think definitely want to scoop up some more. Did you have any kind of final thoughts on prices right now anyway?
No. And, because you mentioned it, though, the RH case, we could see some interesting bullish action leading into that, I think, as a by the rumor kind of thing. And then depending on what happens, I don't know that we'll get any kind of resolution that day. I think the judge will probably break on it and kind of take plenty of time to decide. And that would be a sell the news event, maybe. But leading up to it and anticipation of a favorable outcome could definitely trigger some bullish movement. And then we, fall right into the election right after that. So
true. I am with you 100%. We've already started to see the bullish moves. I mean, we're still 3 weeks out or so from that case, which got moved to Halloween Day, of course, at like 2 p.m. or whatever. And that's going to be so fun, man. I can't wait. We've talked about it. I can't wait to see some of the people that are making the trip and traveling and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be video outside the courtroom or events maybe they'll have after it. That's going to be really entertaining. And I'm with you 100%. I think we continue to see this ecosystem pump into it, maybe even like especially hard in the week leading up. I don't know about after, if it'll be like a sell the news thing and we'll see it come back down, but I definitely think we're going to see continued pumpage as we get into that. So
agree.
Yeah, perfect timing, really.